Welcome back, you beautiful people, to Cowland on Cars. And this week, a car that you'll have seen appear in the background of many other films that we've made here. And I've had quite a few messages and DMs saying, why is that car there? What's the story behind it? And more importantly, and understandably, why are you not driving it? So this week, we're going to have a look at this rather lovely, well, it's not that lovely, Volvo V70, but the story behind it is very lovely. And the reason that I have it is very lovely. So let's get into that. But first of all, I need to move it, and that within itself is a bit of a story as to why it's parked here and hasn't moved for quite some time. Question is, will it start? So the fabled Volvo 5-pot, you can see I've been a little bit busy under here. We've got this uprated Powerflex torque mount, which was a really good move actually. That just gives a bit more precision to this mounting here. So you've got polyurethane both in the smaller and larger fittings. It just stops the engine from moving around quite so much. Can put a tiny bit of NVH into the cabin, but hasn't seemed to on this one, so that was a good upgrade. So why doesn't it start with any regularity? Well, the honest answer is I don't know. I would suspect from the things it's done before it started, it's either a faulty inhibitor switch on the gear lever, so it's not sure which part of the gear selection it's in, and therefore it stops it from starting so you don't start in gear like all autos do. Or potentially, I know on this age of Volvo, sometimes fuel pump relay can be a thing. And again, if that's intermittent, it would stop it starting, but you never know, cross your fingers, might start today. Now for all starting issues, I break out this, which was a gift from the lovely people at Draper. This starter pack is immense. You could run your house off this for a week, I reckon. It will start and spin this at a rate of knots. So if it has any chance of getting going at all, this is going to do it. So this poor old girl has basically been parked up just through lack of time. It was driving beautifully, such a great daily driver. And then because it started to become unreliable and always where you didn't want it to be, that it wouldn't start, it's been parked up here. But this is the summer we're going to get it back on the road. So please cross your fingers. It'll either start on the button and I'll look a right idiot, or sit here and churn and turn and I won't. So either way, I can't lose. Swedish engineering on the button. It sounds so happy as well. Right, that's good. On with the video. Now, bearing in mind that has sat for a few months, not a hint of a rattle, not a tap. Now, this battery is very low. I think it's probably dead, but let's let it run up for a little while before we shift it. I can tell you more about this lovely, lovely old car. You might notice that the power steering is not working. So believe it or not, this is the car's good side. The car has a story to tell on this side, which is how I got it. 1998 Volvo V70, the SE spec, which has got some lovely things, which I shall show in a moment, used to belong to my wonderful next door but two neighbour, a lovely man called Noel, who, believe it or not, I'm quite sad I still live on the same road that my great-grandmother used to live on 50 odd years ago. When I was a small baby, playing in her garden, they had some lovely next door neighbours, Jenny and Noel lived there pretty much from when the house was built until he sadly passed away a few years ago. And this was his car. He had this car as an ex-demo, so probably when it was 6 months old, right up until not long before he died. And that brings us on to this side, which is where it comes into my possession. Now, you'll notice, my friends, right about here, this isn't quite the way that Gothenburg originally styled this car. This was much, much worse. And Nolan, we were great friends, and he was quite a lot older than me. He would have been well into his 80s, I believe, just before he died. Very young outlook, very wonderful guy. And he cherished this car. He looked after it so well, has a fantastic service history and a very low mileage. But he just happened to miss a post, basically, and we've all done something similar. Basically pushed the entire side of the car in down a bollard, and he was so upset that he'd done it to his beloved Volvo. He came around to my house and said, "Paul, you need to scrap the vehicle. I never want to see the car again. I'm so upset with myself for damaging it. I'm going to hand in my license. and I won't drive again. And you need to get rid of the car, you need to scrap it. And I said, no, I can't scrap it. It's too good. The base car underneath is just too good. So what happened then? Well, Noel agreed not to scrap the vehicle, but he said he never wanted to see it again. So what I had to do then was put it here in my yard for, believe it or not, almost 3 years, starting it regularly until he sadly passed away. And then after we'd given him a good old see off, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that car back on the road as my little testament to him. And of course, being Noel's Volvo, despite all the muck and scuffs down the side, went straight through its MOT on the first go. And since then, I've done a little bit to it. So one of the first things you'll notice is that rather sweet stance. And unfortunately, we can't drive the car today for various reasons. It's not taxed, not MOT'd. Power steering isn't working too well. If we could, I could convey to you the ride quality and the handling of this car. The Kony kit, which is springs and dampers, lowers the car, I think, a very acceptable amount, but gives it pretty phenomenal handling. Now, the reason I wanted a V70 in the first place, and I'm sure many of you out there will agree, was of course the 850 touring car. They're not the most obvious performance package that you think of when you think of quick cars, but with a few mods, they can actually be made to handle really well. And this one does handle beautifully. And there's a few things under here. You might actually hear the power steering tank pressurizing. So we've got a few issues. You can see the tops of the Konys. They're beautiful. The chassis is in wonderful condition and the car handles really well. If you can hear that, there you go, that's hissing. So there's definitely a problem with the power steering. I think it's probably the rack pressurizing, which is coming back. We're losing power steering fluid, which means although you can top it up and get a day or so out of it, that's not ideal, is it really? We need to find a permanent solution to that. The engine, as you can hear, is in beautiful order. That's been impeccably serviced. I've done a couple of services on the car as well. It's probably ready for another one. But I think it's too sentimental a car. It's a car that's been around on our road and in my life for too long. Is it going to be an economical repair to get it back to perfect condition? Probably not. But do I owe this car at least a chance to get back on the road, be MOT'd and drivable again? I think abso-flipping-lutely. You've seen the Powerflex bush, that's a good upgrade. I've got some other Powerflex bushes to put on, but really, apart from I think a power steering rack, potentially a fuel pump relay or an inhibitor switch, I don't think we've got a huge amount to spend under here. You can also see for the nerdy of you out there that I've had a Motorsport Tech put these on. The paint mark is always a giveaway. Now, where I very much do have some money to spend is here. You can see the dreaded Volvo lacquer peel. Now, this colour in the trade is what we call 90-day blue or doom blue, because generally speaking, if you had a car on stock in this colour, you had it a long time. And unbelievably, despite the fact it is a flat colour, Volvo have lacquered it, which actually, although it's meant to protect the paint, it will only do that until the lacquer decides to fall off, which it's now very much doing. And you can see the whole of the top of this car is starting to peel. So I'm going to need to do something, even if it's just stabilise what we have here, to make it a bit better. But again, the bodywork's in really good condition structurally, it's just not very pretty. And I'm not that bothered. With this car, when I was driving it, what I loved about it, I could drive it anywhere, park it anywhere. It would do about 30 to the gallon. And the fact that it looked a bit scruffy was actually all part of the appeal for me, really, because it didn't matter where you left it. Now, naturally, at the back, there are a few issues as well. There's a lot of lacquer peel here too. And you may notice, unless you're on a very steep downward slope, the boot doesn't stay up. Now, I do have a ghetto fix for this, but the proper fix is actually 2 spring dampers that go in the roof behind all the trim panels. So all the trim panels need to come off, the dampers need to go on, and that will fix it. But of course, then what you have is this enormous Volvo boot. So that's a little bit of money to spend. Let me show you my ghetto fix. I think you'll be really impressed. Yes, I have smacked my head on that loads. Now, obviously, you could put the springs in. That's about an hour and a half tops to do that. Or get an IKEA pole that just happens to be exactly the right length. The work of moments. You know what it's like when you're running bangers. Just cheap and easy fixes. And it's even a little bit spring-loaded. And it sits perfectly in both of the holes. Banger fixes, aren't they the best? Now, while you marvel at the pure engineering / laziness of my fix there, a few other things to go through. We've got other Powerflex bushes to go on, which I haven't had time to fit yet, so I'm very excited about that. You can see how clean and lovely it is. And this also has the problem that a lot of these old V70s do, which is there's basically a spring and a recoil action in that lovely blind, which is actually gone. So I do need to do some kind of fix on that as well. But it is very lovely inside, that's the good news. Although some of the leather or pleather is starting to come off the door panels a little bit. And in some cases, when Noel was clearly cruising, it's actually gone through. But this is why I love driving this car so much. I absolutely adore the style. I think the V70 is such a good looking car. I prefer the 850 if I'm honest. It's a bit chunkier and squarer. But the V70 is pretty good. And I haven't told you the best bit yet. Noel and I, because we couldn't agree on what we would do, whether it would get scrapped, we agreed that I would pay some money, double the scrap value that he had quoted to him, to his favourite charity, on the understanding that when he'd gone and when the dust had settled, I'd get it back on the road and I'd fix it up. So that's what we're going to do. But in here, clearly a man of great taste was our Noel. You've got the wood steering wheel. You've got a bit of wood fascia, which I think is very nice. Heated seats, of course, and they are electric memory seats as well. I've got aircon, which doesn't work at the moment. We can add that to the bill. A very nice doubled-in stereo with CD player that does work, and tape player as well. And heated mirrors. Leather absolutely everywhere. Factory sunroof. The only thing it doesn't have, bizarrely, is cruise control. I don't know why you'd spec a car to this level, then it doesn't have cruise on it. Now, I think you can retrofit, so if I can find either a car that has it on and we can nick it across, I'm going to do that because it's the only thing this car needs. It then becomes, to me, the ultimate motorway wafter. Wouldn't it be nice to get that and have everything working beautifully? And here's the other reason to get excited. When I got this car off Noel, it only had 62,000 miles. It's now done 79. That's how much I've driven it before we tucked it away. That's still nothing, is it? This is a car that will do 300 easy. So we need to get this car back on the road. Now, you may remember at the top of the film, I said the reason that it got tucked away is because it would just hit and miss. Sometimes it would start beautifully, which it did at the start of the film. Sometimes it wouldn't. Now it's not starting again. And then you see the problem. There's the bones of a really good car. There's clearly a lovely story as to why it's here and to why I want to get it back on the road. But as you can see, there's some money to spend and it doesn't behave itself when it needed to, which is why it got parked up in the first place. Why I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet and get it sorted. But the good news is you'll have seen with my lovely 1973 Volvo, it's been over with Tiff and Aaron at the team at Hereford Volvo, and they have done wonderful work on that car. And for very sweetheart rates as well. They've been very kind to me. Have said when that car's finished, and it nearly is, bring the V70 down, let's get it at least up to an MOT spec, get it working back on the road, and then we can tidy it up later down the road. So that's what's going to happen next. The next episode for this is when I pick up the 73, I'm going to drop this off at Hereford Volvo, and hopefully, if it's not too expensive, we'll at least get it back running and riding. So thank you for watching. That's the story of the V70 that so many of you have asked about. It will live again, I hope so, and hopefully you will get to see it within the next few weeks or so. But do like, subscribe, ring that bell, don't forget to share, and of course leave in the comments below what you think of the V70. Have you had one? Do you think we should save it? Is it worth it? Doesn't really matter, but yeah, what do you think? And I'll see you next time.